So hello everyone, and thanks for coming for this presentation. So we'll have a quickie 15 minutes where I would like to share with you my 6 MLOps practices. So I said these are not deep practices that everyone has to put in place. I put them in place with my colleagues, with my clients, and I would like to share them with you during this talk. So better, faster, stronger, 6 MLOps practices to put in place starting tomorrow. So nice to meet you. I'm very glad to be here. So I'm Sandra Pietrowska. I'm Polish and French for a while. This talk, as you see, will be in English. I'm data scientist, more recently ML engineer. Been working for around 8 years on data projects. And right now I'm based in Paris in a consulting company that is called Imaya. And so during this talk, we will have a short introduction into MLOps, short reminder, and then we will dive into 6 MLOps practices that I would like to have as well your feedback, and I would like you to put them in place tomorrow if it's not already done. So let's start with MLOps, a short reminder. So where does it come from, MLOps? What is that? So MLOps, it's not something new. It comes, we're talking a lot about it right now, but these are the practices that comes from the world of DevOps. So let me remind the definition of what is DevOps. So DevOps is a set of practices that will combine software development, IT operations, and the objective would be to shorten the system development lifecycle, provide continuous delivery with high software quality. And when we talk about MLOps, the definition will be quite similar. However, we will add another brick, which will be machine learning brick, and the objective would be to shorten machine learning system development lifecycle. So thanks some ML guy for this definition. And when we talk about DevOps, we usually think about CALM's principles, CALM's framework. So what is CALM's? It will be first C for the culture, where the aim will be to build communication, trust, visibility. A for automation. The objective is to eliminate manual repetitive work. Lean for continuous improvement. Measurement to collect data and take fact-driven decisions. And last but not least, sharing for sharing practices, sharing tools within and between the teams. And these principles, CALM's principles, we can also apply to MLOps. We will deep dive a little bit more just later. But the thing that I would like to underline from the beginning is that MLOps, it's not only about tooling. For a couple of years, MLOps exists. We're talking about MLOps, and we think, I used to think immediately about the tools, about Airflow's CI/CD, MLflow. But it's not only about tooling. It's also about the practices and culture. So for the CALM's framework, we saw it for DevOps. We can apply it to MLOps, and we can see a lot of different bricks, a lot of practices that will match each of CALM's principle. So we don't have time to cover all of them. I would be more than glad to discuss after presentation. I will focus on these 6. And so let's go and let's share these practices. So the first one would be take time to fill business use case canvas for every data project. It might happen to you that you started a project, data project, and a couple of days or weeks later, you discover that actually the stakeholders, the clients, the users, they are not really aligned on why we do that, what will be the value that we propose. So why we would use this use case canvas? To align these parts, so stakeholders, users, developers, and to maximize chances that the data project that we develop will be usable, useful, and used. How we would do that? What is Business Canvas? So it's a support to facilitate the scoping phase of a data project to define altogether what problem we would like to resolve. It's inspired by the business model canvas of Alex Osterwalders, and I adapted it for data project with my colleagues, with experience of my clients, and use it regularly right now. So how we'll do that? I will show you the canvas just later. So it's important to fill it regularly, to share it with all the parts that that are considered. So the stakeholders, the user, developers, and we update it regularly. So if you would like to have it, you can scan this QR code. So you'll get the canvas. It's in English and in French. I will share this presentation later. Okay. Otherwise. And so the canvas looks like that. So first we define what is the problem that we try to solve with our data project. What will be the return on investment? What are the existing solutions that are probably not sufficient? What are the risks? Can we anticipate these risks? Who will be the users? What data should we collect? What data can answer the problem? How we evaluate? And what will be the expected outcome? So I put a lot of questions that may drive the discussion. So what I would recommend that once we start the data project, so we gathered all these parts that are considered by the project, and these questions may help you to guide, to drive the discussions, and to make sure that we are all aligned why we are doing that and what value the data project should bring. The second one would be create a reusable project template. Why? To accelerate new project creations and to standardize practices within the team. Once you ask Google, what is the best data project structure? I'm coding more in Python, so some of examples will be in Python. So what is the best project structure? Probably we'll have a lot of different answers from Google, as well as in the team, development team. Every developer can have another idea of how we should structure the project. So it's important to standardize, to share these ideas, and have something that is reusable, custom, that answer our needs, and to have this template in our team. And so how we'll do that? There exist multiple tools for creating project templates. Cookie Cutter is probably most commonly used right now. And we can create templates for the project. We can reuse the templates that are already pre-made and make them evolve. So either you use the template that is existing, you adjust it, or you get the template, you adjust it, make it evolve, increment with your team to answer your needs. So Cookie Cutter is cross-platform. You can use different versions of Python to use it. However, it's not only for Python projects. You can use it for different programming languages. The third one would be create a package with shared functions across the project. Why we would do that? To avoid code duplicates and avoid losing time of rewriting transformation that are already done in different projects. So what I propose is to have a private repository where you will have different functions that are used across projects, that are used in multiple projects. And how we'll do that? So first we'll evaluate what are the functions that might be used, that are already used or might be used multiple times. We centralize them in a repository, package it, and then on any other new project that we develop, we import these functions from this private package. So we create a repository, we organize these utility functions, we can host them on a cloud provider, and then we import, again with Python, so we import this project, specifying where it's hosted, and we can use the functions from this centralized repository. What are the functions, the examples of functions that we can centralize? So some of my projects, my clients, we have the specific private repository to read, write tables from cloud services. If you have the transformation that you are doing every time, like revenue loss computation, centralized as well. Methods for imputing missing values, if you have developed some within your team. So anything that you would find useful and used in many projects. The fourth one would be check your code quality. So why we would do that? To improve the readability of the code and to make it consistent across our spectrum of Python code. And so what is our goal? To make it readable, but also you can make it readable via respecting code conventions for Python code. I will talk about it just later, about PEP 8. And how we will do that? So there are a lot of tools, so Python libraries that help us to evaluate if we respect these coding conventions, if there are some errors and use code. So it will be PyCode style, Flake 8, and Vultr that would check it. And we have as well Black that will format our code. So PEP 8 is a style guide for Python code. It defines what should be the naming conventions, how we should use the blank lines, comments, white spaces. And PyCode style Flake 8 will check these, so style conventions. Vultr find unused code, errors, untested code. And Black will format our code. So be careful once applying Black on your code. I would recommend it to do it module by module, because if you haven't already used this kind of tools, it might refactor all your code, and the pull request will be huge. So in one of the projects with my client, we have a short script, and every time I put the merge request, I run first the script to make sure that it will match the PyCode style, Vultr conventions that are checked within this. So either the code pass, or I have a list of all the errors, all the recommendations, how to reformat my code to make it more readable. The fifth one would be track your model experiment, something very specific for machine learning. So why we would do that? To compare model results, to collaborate with different members of our team once we start to try to improve the model performance and version different iterations of the model. So what we would do, we would log parameters, we will log models, we will log code versions, metrics, and then we can analyze them, visualize them, and choose the best model that we would like to put into production. And how we will do that? So the most common tool is MLflow. You have to install this library and then add a few lines in your code. And when I talk about few lines, it's really a couple of lines that we add. So first we specify what is the tracking URL of our MLflow. So MLflow, in my experience, I've been hosted it in a cloud provider of my client. Then we define the run, we set this tracking URL, and later we add anything that we'd like to track. So the parameters as features of the model, the metrics, errors, and anything that will help you later to analyze and to choose the best model to use in production. Is that all? So the title was 6 ML practices. There is one that is missing, and it's probably the most important, which would be collaborate. Why? To deliver high quality solutions, continuous improvement, and very important, to work in a sustainable way in the team. So there are a lot of practices, a lot of processes that are that might be established in the team to improve collaboration, such as agile methodology that I like a lot. Don't have time to talk. A lot about this one. Sorry. But where to start? I would recommend to start with a pair programming, mob programming, and the pair reviews of your code. So there are a lot of benefits of pair programming, such as sharing knowledge. We have 2 modes of thinking that we confront every time we are working together. We have a focus. We keep the work in progress low. The benefits are numerous, and this will be probably the one to start with if you don't have this habit in your team yet. So, sorry, there is something. So the takeaway will be: first, take time to fill business use case canvas, to standardize and take time to fill business use case canvas to make sure that you are aligned between all the parts of the project. Create reusable template. Create a package with shared function across project. Check your code quality. Track your model experiments. And last but not least, collaborate with your team and with other teams that are concerned with the project. So there is so much more. I would be more than glad to discuss it with you. And thank you very much for the attention.